Wow, that was a windy ride up this morning. I'm happy to see that the door has been worked on, at least the inside half. More about that door in a bit, but first I want to show you the last flight I took with the drone in mid-July. You can see the surrounding area. It gives you more of a perspective than you've seen so far around the house. I hadn't realized how many high wires there were around the property until I started flying the drone. And it makes it very difficult, very tricky. This flight was taken around the middle of July when we were in the first heat wave, and the temperature that morning was about 36 degrees, so about 100 Fahrenheit. I've come to the understanding after watching these drone clips that what I thought were 2 houses out of the row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is actually 3 out of 7. In other words, my house used to be 3 thin slices, but many decades ago, one family owned all of them and opened all the rooms up and turned it into a taverna. If you haven't met my semi-feral companion yet, please let me introduce you to Dickie. This video is going to have a couple tangents just because I feel like having them, and one of them is going to be Dickie. Actually, her full name is Dickie Doo, but she also answers to the Dickster. And when she's not hunting snakes and rats, she's doing yoga and sleeping at the end of the bed. This door was originally a service door for the kitchen to the seating area of the taverna. And now that it's going to become a bedroom off of the kitchen, I want to make it a little bit higher because from the other side it really looks low, you can see. And this doorway really needs to be structurally refigured. It's not strong and it has a certain amount of weight above it, and we want to make it stronger and better. As a result, we're going to lose some of the width, about 10 centimeters on each side, so it'll be a taller, more narrow passageway. Και δεν υπάρχει περίπτωση να χρησιμοποιούμε αυτό εδώ,
Αυτό εδώ.
Που είναι εξάμετρα.
Είναι στενό.
Okay. Για πάνω?
Για πάνω θα μας μείνει το άλλο το ένα. Γι' αυτό σκέφτομαι, δεν είναι λεπτό.
Okay. While I was on Kea for the weekend of work, a couple interesting things happened. My beloved 4-meter tall cactus was blooming, and somebody gave me a loom. More about that later. On Monday morning, when I was back at the building site, the first thing that happened was I got in an argument with the people that supply us with skips. Now, mind you, I've taken 12 skips from them. That's over 1,500 euros. And we've always put it in the same place, but this time the driver refused to do so. He was a real drama queen, and it came out in conversation that the reason he was angry is because he'd seen skips from another company there in the past weeks, which of course were part of the deal that I made with the group that came for the destruction. They supplied their own skips. I couldn't believe how petty he was being, and finally he just got in a huff and back in his truck and left with the skip. So I scouted around and found this other company, which is what you're looking at, put it where we wanted it to go, and left us to fill it. The door that we're rebuilding today, it's a little bit tricky to understand exactly what is behind all of these molds. So I'll show you the materials when I went to get them. I've used this company for many things during the building project, and they're really helpful, and they make whatever you want to measure as you wait. Today I'm picking up 4 different columns. The doorway we're changing today is in a very thick wall, so it needs to be done in 2 halves. This side first, and then once it's stabilized, we'll go to this side. In order to reinforce this door, we needed to make it a little bit more narrow than it was. But that's fine because that's a bedroom back there. So it's not really necessary to have an enormous doorway. Heat wave number 2 hit, and it was absolutely impossible to do anything after work. My hostess dog, Dazzle, was really suffering. But I did manage to go for a shopping trip with my daughter, and it was hysterical when we met up and we were both wearing almost exactly the same outfit. Unplanned. We're obviously cut from the same fabric. And on that shopping day, I found this really cool coffee cup for the Owl House. And here's a shameless plug for my cookie company. You can see how much rock we had to pull back in order to establish a steel frame. These photos were sent to me by Marcos because I couldn't leave Kea the days that this was being done. Here you can see how much more narrow it's become and how he's done one half of the wall and he'll do the other half now. So here he's setting up the frame for the second half. After the steel work is done, he boxes it in, makes sure it's super secure, and leaves a place at the top where the cement is poured. It's quite a watery cement, but full of a lot of gravel, strong, and the frames, the beton form, are tapped constantly while the cement is being poured so that all the air bubbles are removed. There's still broken tiles all over the place, and the skip will be around until we get this mess cleaned up. This is the last aerial photo I took before I crashed the drone, but I'm happy to say the drone is back and I'll have new photos soon. This piece of wall that's shown before the roof was on, it fell down in the demolition, needs to be rebuilt, and I think that Marcos has done that while I was away as well. I'll find that out soon. I've been looking at before pictures and it's pretty amazing how far we've come. In the next video, we'll open up the cement forms and see the fully finished door. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, like and leave a comment. It really helps the project go ahead. And in the meantime, check out this charming little boat that couldn't keep up with my ferry back to Kea. Have a great week. See you soon.